Hello my friends, welcome back. It's Nat Walsh. It's been a while. I've done a couple of videos for TLC Designs and now we're coming back to me just having some fun. So to ease myself into it, I'm doing a relatively simple little card. I've got two stamp sets from Stampin' Up that I haven't used and I love this stamp set. This particular one with the heart has another like an outline heart with some flowers on it. This one is called Strong of Heart and we're going to use another one for the sentiment. I like the sentiment in the other one. I'll talk to you about that one in a minute. We've got some Victorian velvet, we've got some Dusty Concord, and we have some Villainous Potion that I'll bring in a little bit later. Now there's a big gap between these two colors and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do about that. So I'm just applying a little bit of color on the currently what is left hand side, which is going to be our right hand side, and I'm just dabbing it off with a paper, not paper towel, but a baby wipe, and it's just going to give us that very soft start of a soft blend. It's a work in progress. This is where I'm going to bring my Villainous Potion in, and this one I'm just going to even go a little bit lighter around that top corner there. Just checking where I'm going to go, how far I went down, that sort of thing. Once again, dab that off just to soften that edge. I don't want too much. The other thing you can do, which I'm going to do a little bit later on because I wanted it even a little bit softer because baby wipe is a bit wet, is use a blending brush, and you'll see I'm going to do that in a little bit. I wanted a little bit more darker color just up on that corner. Dab it off. And this time I'm going to try and give it a bit more of a stronger wipe. There we go, that's much better. So next we're going to go in, clean that all off because I don't want to damage my other ink pad. We're going to go in with our Victorian velvet and try and fill in those gaps a little bit. I'm going to do this a couple of times because I wanted it quite a good coverage. And then we're going to go back in with a little bit of our Dusty Concord and just try and give it a little bit of a softer blend. Yet again, a little bit of Stamp CPR. I actually forgot about my Villainous Potion. So that was nice to drag that out. I had to go searching for it because it wasn't in my normal drawers. I'm thinking about doing a craft room tour, being the beginning of 2022. Leave me a link if you want to see that. I've done a little bits and pieces in my room. I've decluttered an awful lot, but I still have a bit of stuff because this craft room there's patchwork, there's my officey sort of stuff, not related to craft but to my business, which is not craft related whatsoever. Getting back to the card, this is where I'm going back in with some blending brushes. I've got the Paper Rose little blending brushes here, which I love, and it's just going to give me a softened look a little bit on my blending. So it's going to help provide that little bit of gap between the Dusty Concord and voila, and the Victorian velvet. It's still quite, the two, as I said, the colors are quite a jump, but that just helped to blend them in a little bit more. What was I saying? Yes, craft room tour. So there's patchwork, there's cross stitch, there's my business related stuff, there's gosh knows what else in this room. Some of it's changed, some of it hasn't, but leave me a comment down below if you want to see that because I'm thinking about doing it, but I have to find a day when no boys are home, which is not very often. Sort of like today is Friday and today I was home alone, so there's a possibility. So it's going to be a little while. So here I've just got my Fiskars silicone matte. I am protecting my card panel, which is the top of my desk there, because, you know, no doubt I was going to get a little bit overzealous with my spraying of water. I've got Victorian Velvet here and my Dusty Concord. We're going to dry that off, and as I go, I'm going to dab it back into the ink. I saw this on, this is not my idea, and even the person I saw it on, it's not her idea. I saw it on Amy R, Prairie Paper and Ink. I saw it on her YouTube channel and I thought, oh, that's really pretty cool. And so I was umming and ahhing with this card on, you know, it's a lot of white, it's a lot of black, but sentiments. But at this time I thought we would do a little bit of a coloured background and stamp on top of that. So that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to dry all that off. I think she saw it from Debbie Hughes, I think it was. I have seen Debbie Hughes. She's brilliant at what she does. But yeah, so it's seen from someone and then someone else has seen it and someone else probably, who knows. So I've just cleaned off my craft desk there. Just making sure my panel's really flat because, you know, these things do warp a little bit. What I'm going to work with here is I'm just checking out, making sure which stamp I wanted, but I decided, no, I'm not going to go for any of those. This other set is Feels Like Home. It is another Stampin' Up set. I don't think I'm going to show it to you because I'm slack. Oh, there you go, I did show it to you. Another set I have not used, but we're going to use the sentiment because it says I can't get thank you enough. And I need some more thank you cards. I don't have very many. So we're going to work on that for a little while. I don't particularly do a Valentine's Day cards. We don't really celebrate it. Or I don't particularly really celebrate it. I think a lot of people do here in Australia, but we don't. So I'm going to stamp this with VersaFine and then go over it with some clear embossing powder. I'm going to double check that my stamp is straight right here. Now, I didn't double check that this panel is dry. Thankfully enough. It's getting late. I mean, it's only like 9:15 at night time. But for me, it's getting late. It's a little bit past my bedtime. I'm going to stamp this sentiment a couple of times to make it nice and juicy and bright. And then I'm going to add some clear embossing powder. Over the top of that, while it's still hot, I'm just going to dip it into the clear embossing powder yet again to make it extra, give it a little bit more oomph, a little bit more brightness, shall we say. This clear embossing powder is just one out of my stash. It's just a local supermarket. It is getting late. A local craft shop just stocks it and bottles it and sells it off. So, but it's great. It does really, really well. So we just heat that a second time. Okay. Someone's dropping something upstairs. So we've got the little panel. We're going to trim down my little sentiment here. On the edge of my sentiment, I thought about doing a flag, but we're just going to do a diagonal line. Just trying to trim him all down. Okay, so we're going to trim him down. But no, we're going to do a diagonal little line. I'm going to put a bit of foam tape. This is not my normal foam tape. I'm trying to use it up. I found these 2 rolls of foam tape. Oh, I'm going to trim it down first. A little bit more. I found these 2 rolls of foam tape in my stash and it's great. It works well. it's just a little bit of a pain in the caboose to work with. It's very staticky and it's hard to take the red tape off. So I'm going to pause this. Well, I'm not going to pause this. I'm going to jump ahead. There we go. While I think about it, you're going to... I've missed a tiny little bit. My camera decided to stop working. I don't really know why. So, you know. But thank goodness you only lose a little bit at the very, very end. You don't get to see me putting the multi... You see the sequins going down. Spoiler alert, I put sequins on the card. And you don't see me put the multi-matte medium. I've trimmed this card panel down using Paper Rose Australian rectangles. And that's like the second largest one. I am going to have a very, very thin little piece of border on this. This cardstock is Stampin' Up! Paper Rose, not Stampin'. Let's go back. Let's rewind. This is Stampin' Up! Perfect Plum. That's why I was getting the peas. I was getting the peas all mixed up, people. So I'm just going to mark it. I usually put my panel down. I place it on one side where I want it roughly to go. And then I just mark the rest of it, which therefore gives me a sort of nice little border around, and I can still center the panel. If I stuff it up a little bit, I can center the panel down in the middle, and it works really, really well for me. Back again with that foam tape. I'm going to slather this panel in foam tape. I do like my foam tape, but I am going to slather this panel in foam tape because I want to get rid of the foam. So the same as what I normally do, I've peeled a little bit back on the corner. I'm going to try and even it all up. Press it down, and then while we pull it away, I'm going to then go... I've gone through on the... I can't talk. Off camera, in editing, I pulled the tape off, obviously. A little bit of glue on the back. I'm just going to line that up on my grid paper. Sometimes I find it a bit easier. As I said, it's getting late. I shouldn't be doing this time of the night, but I want to give you a video. I put it on the grid, my grid pad horizontally. I even had to think about that. That's how bad it's getting. Horizontally, and place it down. Now these are sequins are just from my stash. They're a very light gold and silver combo deal. So I'm going to place those down with my little crystal katana, and then I'm going to add them with multi-matte medium, and you're not going to see that part, as I said. So that is my card. I do hope you like it. I do hope you're all right with my fumbling tonight for my voiceover. But, you know, we're getting back in the swing of it. We're getting to the swing. So take care. I hope you are well, and I will leave all the links down below, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Bye-bye.